Now this is comedy. Hidden camera prank shows are nothing new. Hell, they're so common in the age of short form social media. You can get a clip of one or a video from an influencer in a bush costume scaring people and they'll rock up thousands of likes. Whether it's good content is up for debate, but the point is that the format of putting a cameraman far away, getting a person to do something silly, then capturing a random person's reaction works pretty much every time and can make for whole careers, unless you're an arsehole to people and then get shot. But to be fair, I spent my whole childhood watching Rami Gaillard videos and god they were good. In the UK, the first hidden camera prank TV show was called Candid Camera, which was more, I say, jolly good show. I'm gonna drink my tea now type entertainment, which was adapted from an American series which began in the 1940s. Citizen Kane came out in the 1940s. Subsequently, presenter Jeremy Beadle hosted two very popular shows in the 70s, 80s and 90s, Game for a Laugh and Beadle's About, where millions tuned in to see pranks like Fat Man Sits on Bed, Fat Man Breaks the Bed. Like, this is high caliber humour. Noel Edmonds was famous for his Gotcha segment, and he even hosted a show about secret camera pranks. And after all of this, comedian Joly began to make his name on the Paramount Comedy Channel, making political satire, but still having a consistent theme of absurd things happening in public, which in of itself is quite a contrasting, bleak setting. This was then pitched to Channel 4 as a full series, but eventually the political element was dropped in favour of utter realness, simplicity, and just plain fun. Out of that, Trigger Happy TV was born. The show opened with Connection by Elastica and was accompanied by motion graphics which always lasted a little bit too long. The sketches of Trigger Happy TV were inherently simple. Dom would do something either loud, embarrassing, or somewhere in between, either in a public setting or to a particular person. One of the most famous examples would be Dom getting a call on a massive phone, then screaming, "Hello? No, I'm in an art gallery! No, it's rubbish!" The skits within the episodes follow in this vein, mostly focusing on characters like authority figures, interviewers, or just a bank robber interacting with the public. These setups focus not on emotionally or physically harming anyone because that's illegal, but something like a snail slowly crossing the road with cars honking their horns in anger is just still genius level funny almost 25 years on. And because the episodes were so simple to film, there was only a two-person crew, Dom and the camera operator Sam Cadman. I'd never held a camera in my life. I just liked the idea of what Dom needed to get done. Production was bliss. I assumed everyone was left alone in the same way we were. It was probably because we were cheap. We'd hire fluffy costumes from this fancy dress shop in Camden, jump in our car and think of stupid things to do all day. We'd try anything that made us laugh. Trigger Happy TV at its core was about wasting people's time with scenarios you just wouldn't expect to happen in the mundanities of everyday life, especially as it was filmed primarily in London. That aspect was amplified by Dom's choice to not use a laugh track and instead use a specially chosen soundtrack consisting of a large amount of alt-rock, trip-hop and Britpop to provide a somber atmosphere which heavily contrasted the activities on screen. When we started doing Trigger Happy way back in 1998, I quickly realised this was a unique opportunity to play my record collection to a more discerning audience than my neighbour and my two cats. Thinly veiled as a soundtrack, it has allowed me to almost quadruple the size of my CD collection courtesy of Channel 4, as well as raising the flag for some of my favourite bands. Like all great shows, it had a short lifespan, only lasting for 2 series and a 2-part Christmas special, and it had a few international spin-offs. And yes, I have the DVD, and yes, there is a face behind the face. Series 1, airing in January and February 2000, establishes its signature main sketches across its 6 episodes. One of the most common features would be people dressing up in animal costumes and usually beating each other up. When not being a furry, Dom would also act as authority figures like a shady spy passing a briefcase of money to a random person across a bench. Another recurring item throughout the series is Dom acting as a journalist, interviewing politicians or just random celebrities until the interview is interrupted or abruptly cancelled. He usually runs off.
Excuse me, mate. Alright. Come on then, do you want some more, do you? Come on then!
Oh, fuck. Other things would be him in a fat suit getting stuck, becoming an artist that doesn't actually draw and instead does anything else, or performing entertainment to an unwilling couple at a restaurant poorly. Viva la la la! And throughout, the people remain polite and don't stop it, even when it gets unbearable. Finally, a massive sign would say, "Don't trust this man," and despite this, people would still talk to the man, even one asking for directions. Hey man, do you know how to get to a ham sandwich? Of course, man, yeah. So basically, you go round the bins with the 2 previous videos in, you go through the big subscribe sign and notification bell, then over the set of Deal or No Deal, and then you're basically there after you pass the snipers. Sorry, gotta take this. Hi. What? They hit the South Tower. Series 2 aired almost exactly a year later, and it was now purple. There weren't many new bits introduced, but there was more animals beating each other up and raiding places, more inconspicuous spies, more interviews, and more fun. One notable skit involves the 1 millionth customer going for a shopping spree. He grabs all he can, then he exits to an empty street. Dom would also wear headphones, but with speakers. That's how simple we're talking. In December of 2001, the curtain would come down with a 2-part Christmas special. I'd say Christmas was in about half of it, but this was about as high budget as it ever got, with more costumes, more people, and even some prosthetics. I'll admit, it's hard to talk about a comedy series through a video essay because it destroys the payoffs, but this was trigger happy at its finest. Here's some examples. 2 hedges close in on someone in a maze. A gorilla smashes the glass with a baseball bat in a zoo to escape enclosure. A fisherman hooks a comically large fish, and a priest asks for money and then gets in a sports car. All curated with the timeless soundtrack. It cements what makes this series great, and it hopefully makes my glazing a little less annoying. Although this show never really contained large set pieces like you'd see in those just for laughs things where, oh look, a guy's on a toilet, oh he's in an office now. It was just Dom struggling to walk down steps until a man helps him, then he gets on a bike. The main focus of this show was not to make others feel bad, but make random passers-by have a classic cartoon double take of the events surrounding them, the viewer becoming a voyeur to these surreal situations, and the humour stems from the confusion felt, Dom being the butt of the joke. Dom later tried to move to the BBC to make a more larger scale project called World Shut Your Mouth, which was in the same vein as Trigger Happy but in different countries, and also in widescreen. Ooh, we don't talk about the ITV one. But I, and many other people, do love the simplicity and madness the original series contained, and the effect it's had through video sharing sites like YouTube has brought joy to so many people, including me.
Hello? No. No. I can't talk now. Bye.